Alright, one other person has to be with me on this. Restricted movement in first-person shooters is not only weird, it's also a little annoying. I'm going to call out a couple of specific games in this video, and when I say that, you're going to think I'm saying that the game is good or the game is bad, and that's not what I'm going to be doing at all. I'm going to be simply talking about the movement and whether or not it makes sense. So if you want to tell me that I'm bad or I don't get it, that's fine, but I guarantee you I'm not, and I do, so let's go forward here. I'm just going to start off with the thing that's going to make the most people mad. Why can't I prone in Halo? And in the original Halos, why couldn't I sprint? It's always annoyed me in the original Halo games. As much as I love them, I adore them, they're in my top 20 favorite games of all time. Not just favorite shooters, favorite games. All of the Halo games, really other than 5 and 4, are a part of my favorite games of all time. I can't speak for all the spin-offs, but Halo 1 through Reach are some of my favorite games. And it's always irritated me that I can't prone in them. Like, I remember my friends used to talk about it like, oh, well, Spartans can't lie down, their armor's too heavy, they wouldn't be able to get back up. And that's how they justified not being able to prone in Halo games. I know now that it's for balance reasons and it would change the meta drastically and throw a lot of things on their head. I get that, that's fine. But at the time I was even thinking like, that doesn't make any sense, because then every time Master Chief gets knocked on his ass, that means he's like turtle shelled and he can't get up without help. The idea that Spartans are strong enough to flip tanks but not strong enough to stand up after lying down is pretty silly. Like, it took me a long time as a kid to get over the fact that you can't ADS in the Halo games. It always bothered me after playing Call of Duty and other shooters, because I was like, oh, you know, aiming outside is so much cooler, but I've gotten over that. What I haven't gotten over is the fact that Spartans can't swim, but they can survive in space, but that's a whole other video. But it annoys me in Ghost Recon Wildlands when I can't jump. You can't jump in Ghost Recon Wildlands. You can mantle some things, you can climb ladders, you can hop on top of some things, but you can't really just jump. So if you wanted to sprint from one rooftop to the next because they're kind of close by, sorry, if there's a gap, you're gonna fall. You're a member of an elite team of soldiers that cannot do the simple act of jumping. You know, that thing toddlers do. Also bothers me that in Far Cry 5 you can't prone, and in Rainbow Six Siege you can't jump. You can mantle and you can climb, but you can't really jump. Would that throw off gunfights even if you couldn't shoot while jumping? Yes. I'm not talking about balance in this video, I'm talking about the fact it doesn't make any fucking sense. Call of Duty set the standard for me back in the day, with I can inbound my sights, I can prone, I can crouch, I can jump, I can sprint, and that's why one of my favorite movement systems is actually in one of my least favorite games, and that is Battlefield 1. Battlefield 1 allows you to slide, high mantle, normal mantle, jump, prone, and crouch, and you have contextual lean. You can lean and you can peek cover, all contextually and whatnot. I don't care who you are, that shit's rad. You feel like a human being when you play Battlefield 1 at least. Some of the movements and animations are a little too flowy, and I think they could have been a little bit stiffer to seem more human. If you coupled Battlefield 1's movements with Battlefield 4's animation, I would be so happy, because after Hardline, the animations of Battlefield games got more fluidity and flowy instead of kind of stiff and human, and it's kind of a strange thing. But the thing is, for me it's immersive that I can peek cover and prone and do all the things I mentioned, because in real life, I'm not exactly what you would call in shape. In real life, I can climb a fence. In real life, I can mantle a short wall. In real life, I can sprint and then slide on my knees, although it hurts like hell, don't do it. I can lay down. I can jump. That's a big one. I can jump over my backyard fire pit if I need to. I can leap over things. I can jump, run a little bit, and then jump again. I can skip, goddammit. And if you had all of those in every game, that would break a lot of games. That would break a lot of maps, that'd break a lot of metas, a lot of the flow of the game. It would destroy so much of the game. Like, in so many cases, it just would. But it annoys me nonetheless. Like, I don't care if it's for a good reason, it can still bother me a little bit. You know? Like, you go to play Division, and you can't prone or crouch without an actual piece of cover around. Like, why? I feel more distanced from video game characters, and even if they're like faceless, like multiplayer characters like in Call of Duty or Halo, I feel more distanced from them if they can't do a full range of basic human movements and actions. Run, jump, prone, crouch, lean, hopefully able to aim down the sights on the weapon you're holding, and not having to rely on a reticule. I don't know, it helps my immersion, it helps with my suspension of disbelief. Now would I knock points off of games like Ghost Recon Wildlands, or Halo, or Division, or Rainbow Six, or oh, the fact that you can't prone in Titanfall fucking annoys the hell out of me. Like, but would I knock points off? No. Because I'm sure it's either for balance, or just for the design of the game itself. It's not a part of the philosophy of the game, so if something's not supposed to be in a game, then I can live with it. But it is irritating. I just can't get over the fact that it irritates me. I have to kind of drudge up the feelings, you know, I don't boot up Halo and immediately get an angry boner. I love or at least enjoy any of the games I just mentioned. And also Doom 2016 has one of my favorite multiplayer modes of all time, and that definitely doesn't give you normal human movement at all. One of the things I've always liked about Call of Duty and the modern Battlefield games is just how human you feel when you play it. It's like you have a little bit more agency than other shooters like Halo or Titanfall or Destiny, where they don't let you do every single basic human movement. You can do like 5 out of 6. The two things I love in first-person shooters is combat variety and intuitiveness, and I feel like when you restrict player movement, you restrict some of the variety in combat, and I think you ditch a little bit of intuitiveness when you removed an entire basic human movement trait from my basic human character that I'm playing as. So I want to see if anybody else has this little pet peeve, this little non-issue. Does anyone else think this? Because I think it'd be really interesting if now this is stupid, but every shooter from now on has a full range of human movements that has to be balanced around. The maps have to be balanced around it, the gunplay has to be balanced around it, everything has to be balanced around basic human movements. If you can do it in real life, you can do it in the game. Whether that's tucking and rolling side to side, sliding on your knees, swinging from tree branches. I'm just making shit up at this point. But it would be cool if more games did this and tried to be a little less creative with their control schemes and player movement, because I think the more human, the better. That's my 1 cent, because my 1 cent is as good as your 2 cents, and I will talk to you guys later. See you when I see ya. Goodbye.
Oh, why wouldn't it fire? Oh, it's in the closet. Yay.
Secure the room. Protect the liability.
Man, that's her ability.
No, you stole my
Next
ass!
to the edges of the screen. See? Okay.
We almost had 2 aces in a game.
Dude! It's good though.
Oh.
That was funny.
I actually didn't know you were on an
It's for
ace.
the memes. It's for the memes. It's good.
I didn't know you were on one. I genuinely
It's
didn't.
good. Don't worry. I totally didn't until you got the last kill, and I was like, oh wait, I got 4 that round.